This is day 16 and the prompt is vines. Now, just before I talk about the vines, see what happens when, like, I was doing a lot of that repeat and I was going back to those points. So for doodling purposes, you might want to put, if you feel like you're going to have thicker designs or pushing harder, you might want to put a piece of paper that's going to soak up that ink. Now, if you're doing quilting, the free motion quilting, and you have a lot of thread play, they're going back and back, what I would recommend is that you use a 60 weight thread. So a 60 weight thread that I really like is called Bottom Line by Superior Threads. And what that will do is that it will reduce, how many times it's going to go over each other. The other thing that helps with that is if you use a blending thread, you're going to see less of that. So another thing that will help with that is to use a blending thread, because then you'll see less of the thread play. But even if you have it on solid, it can look really cool to have all the thread that plays together. So today we're going to talk about vines, but we're also going to think about the importance of spacing when we do our free motion quilting. So again, we've got some vines going on, and so we have some branches, we have some vines, and then we're going to come back because I want to create some leaves. So when you think about nature, quite often leaves will start and stop at the same place. So if we want to establish, this is where they're gonna be symmetrical, okay? And then maybe we can decide what kind of leaves we want to do, if we want to play around with different leaves. We can decide if we want to add some texture, some different vines in there, some different veins, We can create our own. Like, this is like a hybrid of different kinds of leaves. But one of the things that I do want to you consider when you're doing your doodling is think about the spacing. So even here we have symmetrical. So these are going to come out at the same place. Or you can do asymmetrical, and of course that's going to determine that as well. We also want to make sure that when we are creating that when we come back in here and we create another leaf design, that we're having that spacing be consistent with the previous one. Because even though I'm purposely making different leaves, but what's going to look really uniform and really cohesive is if I have consistent spacing in between. If I do some really tiny little leaves in here and some really big ones there, and I've got these bigger gaps and we don't have that it's going to be jarring for your eye. It's not going to have that really nice effect. So again, just a little tip for you on your spacing, on your vines. The other thing that I want to leave with you is when you are doodling, it's really nice in your future self, like the 2 seconds in front of you self, to be like, thank you for giving me a place to go. So when I create this vine like this, then I know that I'm just going to be traveling along this vein, that I'm going to create these vines. Okay, so maybe I will do some hanging vines, and those will hang and they will come off of that vine. And so just thinking about what that's going to look like and creating that space. Okay, so don't forget your spacing and then consistency of the actual leaves and designs themselves. And that's going to serve you really well in your doodling. All right, thanks for joining me for day 16. Can't wait to see what you post on Dara, #Dara Doodle Challenge. See you day 17. There we go, day 17.